You know, that's why we have TV coverage here.
Well, in fact, you're absolutely right, Mark. You know, people in that neighborhood may be tempted to go out and to join this crowd, run out for the money. You know, it's obvious, but should be said, and there goes what appeared to be a yellow plastic bag. Perhaps that held some of the money as well. This money belongs at the end of the day to the bank. There will be efforts made to recover all of that money. And the money was taken at gunpoint, according to law enforcement. So it's certainly not something one wants to get involved in. And at the end of this pursuit, if in fact these bank robbery suspects are armed, as police said they were during the bank robbery, this could end in the way that it ended yesterday. We saw gunfire at the end of that pursuit. By the grace of God, no innocent bystanders were hit by that gunfire, but it could have turned south very quickly. So I think you're absolutely right, Mark, with that advice that to stay indoors if you are in this neighborhood. It may seem amusing with money being thrown out the window, but it is, make no mistake, an extremely dangerous police operation that's underway right now. We just went through an intersection there. Some of the people once again running into the intersection, presumably to get some of that money. Mark Kono, I see we're going through a school district right now. That's always frightening. Where are we?
That's a small elementary school here just off of Vermont, and he's just turned left, so in other words westbound off of Vermont onto a small residential side street here. Vermont Avenue is a very heavily traveled street. It's just south of USC by about a mile, this particular stretch at least, and so as you can imagine, there are a lot of folks out on the street, not only in their cars but out on the sidewalks there. We just passed a small elementary school, and there were definitely some people out on the streets there, and so this is it creates a dangerous situation as the pursuit keeps rolling around the area, and particularly when this guy keeps coming around the same area here. So now this guy eastbound on 47 here, we're coming up on a main street, which is Hoover, and it looks like he's going to, wow, blow right through Hoover, and again, eastbound on 47th Street, he'll be coming up on Figueroa, and then the Harbor Freeway here shortly, traveling at a very high rate of speed. Now we are seeing more of those dangerous type maneuvers here as he approaches, you know, some of these intersections here in South LA. But again, 47th Street eastbound coming up on Hoover here, or coming up on Figueroa, I should say, and it looks like he's just going to be turning southbound on Figueroa here, southbound. So paralleling the Harbor Freeway, once again, the same area here on the west side of the Harbor Freeway. Now he has turned southbound, and he is moving away from 47th.
This is, for those of you familiar with it, the South Figueroa corridor. We just saw an LA County Sheriff's helicopter fly through the scene, and this pursuit being vigorously followed by that LA County Sheriff's helicopter, law enforcement on the ground with a number of vehicles pursuing as well, and again approaching a crosswalk, this time turning, I believe, is this toward or away from the 110 there?
At this point, Frank, he is moving away from the 110 freeway. He has just turned westbound off of Figueroa onto, I believe, 53rd, and he's going to be coming up on Hoover here in just about half a block, and we'll see what he opts to do here. Does he turn northbound? Does he turn south? Or what does he do? It looks like he's going to be going through the intersection here at 53rd, so he's just north of Slauson, just one major north of Slauson here, and again westbound from Figueroa, and he'll be approaching Vermont Avenue here in just a little bit here.
So again, this is South LA, just to the northwest of the St. John's Well Child and Family Center, if you're familiar with the neighborhood. To the west of the 110 freeway, these are said to be armed bank robbery suspects traveling through South LA after a bank robbery in Santa Clarita. We've seen something that we haven't seen before, that is bank robbery suspects throwing money, or what appears to be money, out of the vehicle in an attempt, we think, to get people, bystanders, to run out into the road to get the money and possibly distract law enforcement from pursuing them and block law enforcement from pursuing them. But as you can see, it isn't working. There are at least 4 vehicles, 5 vehicles that we see, 6, 7, 8, 9, that I count, 10, 11. a number of law enforcement vehicles in the pictures from Mark Sky 5 HD of the vehicle continuing to move through South Los Angeles. They're slowing down a bit there, Mark, and then it appears to be speeding up again. Where are we now?
We are still in South LA here. We are now northbound. This guy is northbound on Budlong, and he's crossing 50th right now, and so he is coming back into that familiar area here. So, and he's just making a left turn, so eastbound on 47th Street. And you're talking about how many vehicles are pursuing this guy. I count at least 12 at this point. We have 2 layers of helicopters here. So we have the Sheriff's Department, we have the LAPD, and high above we do have the media helicopters who, you know, are also covering this situation here. But here he goes. He's turning eastbound now over towards Vermont Avenue. So he is in a residential area here. It looks like he is in, well, near a park, moving away over towards Vermont Avenue, where we saw him earlier approaching an elementary school. So that is about another block or so, but he opts to turn northbound here. Again, in this residential area here, he seems to be traveling in circles, bigger circles in this area here. Just 1 block to the west of Vermont, north of 50th here. Oh boy, okay. As he comes up to this major intersection here, in about half a block, there is going to be a lot of traffic here, a lot of traffic. It's an east-west street. We'll try and get that for you here. But just a lot of traffic is in the area here. And he just kind of makes his way through, and he is now northbound. Again, just 1 block to the west of Vermont Avenue here, traveling northbound. Fairly narrow streets here, lots of vehicles, lots of vehicular traffic, pedestrians as well. And we're going to be coming up to what looks like a high school here,
Mark,
about half a block.
Mark, I want to ask you to keep the picture up as we bring in LA County Sheriff's Captain Mike Parker. Captain Parker, we've been watching this dangerous pursuit that your folks have been involved in since this bank robbery.
At least 4 more likely, more additional suspects.
Yeah, this is an earlier video on the right of them throwing out all the money, which understandably attracts crowds. I mean,
who were from 43rd.
And Derek, we're looking at quite a dangerous situation out there. You can see people running up to the pursuit. Obviously, they've heard about what's going on there. A lot of folks are after some of the cash, I'm sure.
There's 1 or 2 suspects in this car, most likely 2.
Yeah, Captain, we have actually
since then assisted by Highway Patrol on the freeway, LAPD on the city streets. They're in LA City now, or in and out of LA City at this point. They are armed, very dangerous. When you look at the driving that they're participating in, they've nearly hit quite a few pedestrians as well as blown through a lot of traffic signals.
Oh boy, here we go, traffic.
I add to that they have at least 10 times that I've counted by watching your television stations thrown cash out the windows. And just adding to the danger of this is people running out into the street or getting very close to where this car is to try to get the cash and coming within feet of being hit by these suspects.
I can tell you that you were talking about whether or not there's 1 suspect or 2 here. We have seen that there is indeed a second suspect in the back seat who has thrown that money out. We've eyeballed that ourselves. And this idea of throwing the money out and we see the folks running out into the street to get it. Clearly, it seems to us an attempt to try to get pedestrians involved in possibly blocking law enforcement as you're trying to pursue these folks. I wanted to ask, with 10 or 12 law enforcement vehicles, now we're up on the sidewalk here, and have any of the pedestrians been injured at this point?
I don't have any reports of pedestrians injured to me. I don't know for whether they did or didn't. You see the suspect now, he's driving on the sidewalk, nearly hitting a fire hydrant. He's within a few feet of hitting pedestrians. But I can tell you this, is if his plan is to throw cash out the window to block us by having pedestrians, we're not going to run, he may run out of money, but we're not going to run out of sheriff's police. We're not going to run out of helicopters.
Right, and it is sickening to see with putting all of these people in danger, and the fact that people are running out into the street for the money that they're throwing from a bank robbery. This has to put pressure on your lead vehicles there as they pursue these folks. Is this something that you can train for?
You know, there's a tremendous amount of pressure on these sheriff's deputies. I've driven in pursuits. I've been a lead in a pursuit before. This is a lot of pressure on these deputies because their goal is that nobody gets hurt and that these suspects get taken into custody. Because if these guys get away and they're willing to do this kind of reckless criminal behavior, robbing banks at gunpoint, throwing cash out a window, driving in a reckless manner, and almost killing people, clearly they need to be taken off the streets in the interest of public safety. These deputies are under a lot of pressure because I'm counting 50 people on a television screen right now that are all within feet of this pursuit. I don't think are thinking this through clearly because these people driving the car, they're not deputies.